But at any rate, the idea here is that there's a trend in liberal democracies to expand the limits of our citizenship beyond bodily constraints of various kinds, that just because you're a different race or a different gender doesn't mean that you shouldn't have equal rights. And if you extend that logic, then you would say, well, just because you're an alien or just because you're a robot shouldn't mean that you necessarily not have rights. And we see that argument expressed fairly commonly in science fiction. Horror fiction tends to be more negative about those things because the other is often attacking or wanting to eat you. Fantasy is more complicated because fantasy fiction often relies on good species and bad species, the species that are addicted to evil versus the ones that are good. But in a narrative like The Lord of the Rings, the elves are good and the orcs are bad. And so, but in science fiction, we have the kind of dominant federation attitude towards things. It's like everybody, we're going to assume everybody's good until we can prove otherwise, and then we may have to put you in the doghouse. Go to the next slide. This is the study I referred to that I did back in the 90s, Aliens, Technology, and Freedom, showing that the more science fiction people consumed, the more likely they were to want to protect different kinds of animals from lethal medical experimentation. And so, and that not only that they were more likely to protect animals, but that their curve of intuition about which animals should be protected, running here from fish to dolphins, became steeper as you got smarter. So in other words, the less science fiction people consume, they still have the same general moral intuition that dolphins are probably more morally significant than fish, but that if you consume science fiction, you really started to make that distinction between things that could think and things that couldn't.